Good morning everybody, welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great and welcome to this new video right here on Ethereum. Wanted to do a full update on the technical situation. We'll talk a little bit about the fundamentals as well, but I think it's most interesting to focus on the technicals, and there's a lot we need to talk about as well. I mean, Ethereum has been able to hold relatively well. I mean, obviously it's been very weak against, well, not very weak against the markets, but we have lost some strength against Bitcoin, which is not new. That's basically what Ethereum has done the entire last year, except for one moment last year, May, of course, when the Ethereum ETF was announced. But we also, like, for example, to give you an example of the sentiment around Ethereum, what we saw is some major ETF inflows this week, and I think Bitcoin had like billions of dollars coming in one day, and Ethereum actually had an outflow that day. All right, so Ethereum still isn't doing great. But if you still remember the last video, what I said is the main level we need to hold is this level right here around 1750. As you can see, that's a major support level right here, but that is also that was also the value area low of the balance we had right here. All right, and so far we have been able to hold that, but we also respected quite strongly to the POC. This is the POC right here, so that's this area, which sometimes can turn this into a fake out, and that's also what I said on Wednesday, I think. That I thought it was most likely that this was going to be a fake out. And even though, look, at this point of time, I'm not certain about that anymore. I think it's very 50-50, and we'll talk about, well, what those 50-50 possibilities are then. I think it's 50-50, but the fake out, or at least the possibility of this being a fake out, and that Ethereum is going to pull back into this massive imbalance right here towards 1660 is definitely still on the table. And to be 100% fair to you, I actually still lean towards that being the most likely scenario. But we'll talk about that. So far, as you can see, especially if we zoom out, Ethereum has been able to hold that level here at 1750, and you can see, I mean, we can drop down below that. That's not a problem, as long as we actually are able to reclaim that. And so far so good. Ethereum has been able to reclaim that. We're not really gaining that much momentum, so I don't really see enough indication right now for a big move up. But obviously Ethereum is just very dependent on Bitcoin. I mean, I think Ethereum has one of the highest correlations to Bitcoin in the entire market, right? So Ethereum is for 84% reliant on what Bitcoin does. So therefore, I mean, we're looking at Ethereum right now, and we're looking at the relevant levels for Ethereum specifically. But when we're talking about getting a move into that into that next resistance level right here at 1880 and 1870, that's the main target. That's up here. There we have a major liquidity zone, and that's also the previous balance value area high. We want to get there. The only way we can get there is if Bitcoin pushes into 96,000. All right, and the only way Bitcoin gets there is if we get a strong break above 94,000. So a strong break, right? So with volume, probably going to happen in the New York opening or in the US session, whatever you want to call it. So we're waiting for that. If we can do that, then Ethereum is going to push up. But so far, as long as Ethereum is holding support, that's great. But as long as Ethereum has not broken the POC right here at 1810, and we also had a minor bearish breakdown right here below 1780, as long as that's the case, short term, like on the lower time frames, a lot of volatility is possible. But I'm still going to say that I think it's most likely this is more of a fake out, and that we're going to pull back, right? Because I think for Bitcoin, that's also a very realistic possibility. And then Ethereum is weaker than Bitcoin, right? So therefore, I'd say this is most likely, but keep your eyes on Bitcoin, right? If Bitcoin is able to break out with volume here, then the situation for Ethereum changes. And I'll also try to make an update on that as soon as I can. But for now, I think it's best to assume that this is the most likely price action. So those are my thoughts. I think that's what you need to know. For now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.